How to recognize foolishness in others and yourself. The ancient Stoics believed that wisdom begins with recognizing ignorance, not just in others, but in ourselves as well. In this video, we'll explore 6 key signs of ignorance, viewed through the lens of Stoic philosophy and human behavior. But these aren't just observations. They're also practical lessons to help you grow, learn, and evolve. Don't miss out. By the end of this video, you won't just understand these signs more clearly, but also know how to apply them to become a better version of yourself. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights on wisdom and personal development. Let's begin this journey of discovery right now. 1. The spread of negativity. Negativity is one of the clearest indicators of foolishness. It's a habit that starts small, perhaps with a complaint or a critical remark. But, like wildfire, it can quickly spread, consuming everything in its path. As Seneca wisely noted, associate with those who can uplift your character. Foolish individuals, however, often do the opposite. They complain, gossip, and criticize, draining their own energy while pulling others down. But negativity doesn't just harm those around you. It erodes your own values and principles, leaving a trail of dissatisfaction in its wake. The Stoics teach us a different way, to cultivate inner peace and extend it outward. Instead of fueling negativity, ask yourself, how can I respond with positivity? Or more importantly, if I'm the source, how can I shift my mindset to something more constructive? Negativity often seems like a shortcut to connection. Complaining and gossiping can feel gratifying in the moment, but they create a toxic environment filled with distrust and dissatisfaction. Imagine walking into a room where the air feels heavy with tension. Now, imagine you're the one who lightens it with calm words and uplifting energy. That's the power of breaking free from negativity, a power that begins with awareness. Seneca's advice to associate with uplifting people isn't just about others. It's about becoming that person yourself. Negativity might feel like a force outside our control, but Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the soul is dyed by its thoughts. If you allow negativity to dominate your mind, it shapes your perspective and your actions. But focus on positive thoughts, and you'll find yourself building a life not only filled with peace and purpose, but also inspiring that same peace in others. Have you ever wondered why negativity spreads so easily? Most of it stems from unresolved inner struggles. A critic may be projecting their own insecurities. A habitual gossip might be masking personal problems or seeking validation. Instead of judging these individuals, try understanding them and use that understanding to break the cycle. So, how can we break free from this destructive habit? First, pause and reflect before you speak or react. Ask yourself, will this comment help or hurt? Am I addressing the problem or simply venting my frustration? Awareness is the first step toward change. Next, focus on solutions. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you that matters, but how you respond to it. Instead of dwelling on problems, shift your energy toward finding solutions. Even a small step forward can change the tone of an entire conversation. Protecting your inner peace is equally important. Seneca's words, withdraw into yourself as much as you can, don't suggest isolation, but the act of safeguarding your emotional well-being. If negativity surrounds you, set boundaries. Steer the conversation in a positive direction. Or, if necessary, distance yourself from toxic situations. Finally, practice positive reactions. The next time you feel tempted to complain or criticize, take a moment to consider, what can I say or do to make this moment better? A simple expression of gratitude, a kind word, or even silence can shift the energy around you. The energy you bring into the world has a ripple effect. Spread negativity, and it will return to you, often magnified. Spread positivity, and you'll create an environment of kindness, trust, and hope, not just for others, but for yourself. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So, take a moment to reflect. What kind of thoughts are you nurturing? What kind of energy are you putting into the world? Choose to be the calm rain that clears the air, not the storm that darkens the sky. 2. Unfounded confidence. Unfounded confidence is another hallmark of foolishness, and it often reveals itself in the loudest voices in the room. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you that matters, but how you respond to it." Yet foolish individuals often respond to life's challenges with misplaced certainty, mistaking strong opinions for genuine understanding. This overconfidence, often rooted in ignorance, blocks the path to growth and self-awareness. This phenomenon is encapsulated by the Dunning-Kruger effect, a cognitive bias where those with the least knowledge often believe they know the most. Ironically, true wisdom comes with humility. The more we learn, the more we realize how little we actually know. Socrates captured this timeless truth when he said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." It's not an admission of defeat, but a celebration of curiosity and the endless potential for growth. Confidence without substance is more than just a personal flaw. It's a societal challenge. People who believe they know everything stop asking questions, stop listening, and stop learning. Worse still, they're often oblivious to their blind spots. Have you ever encountered someone confidently spreading misinformation? They dismiss other perspectives, refuse to consider they might be wrong, and double down when challenged. It's frustrating to witness, but it's also a cautionary tale. Ask yourself, is there an area in my life where I've been overly confident without a strong foundation? This isn't an easy question, but it's a necessary one. True growth starts when we recognize our limitations. Epictetus offers a humbling reminder. If someone reports that another person spoke ill of you, do not defend yourself but reply, "They didn't know about my other faults. Otherwise, they wouldn't have mentioned just these." This witty response isn't just self-deprecating humor. It's a profound philosophy. Instead of clinging to the illusion of perfection, we should focus on improving ourselves. Overconfidence blinds us to opportunities for growth. When we're too certain of our knowledge, we shut out new ideas and perspectives. Imagine a fortress built on shaky ground. It may appear strong, but it will collapse when challenged. Similarly, unfounded confidence might seem secure in the moment, but it leaves us vulnerable to failure when reality strikes. So how do we balance confidence with humility? First, practice humility by acknowledging that there's always more to learn. Replace the phrase "I know" with "I'm learning." This small shift opens the door to endless possibilities. Next, embrace the power of questions. When you feel overly confident, pause and ask yourself, could I be wrong? What evidence am I missing? How would someone with a different perspective challenge me? Surrounding yourself with people who challenge your views is another critical step. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You must correct yourself and allow others to correct you as well." Reflect on the areas where you feel most confident. Is your confidence built on a solid foundation of knowledge, or is it simply a facade? Ultimately, wisdom lies in embracing uncertainty. Overconfidence might feel secure, but it often leads to stagnation. Humility, on the other hand, fuels curiosity and growth. The next time you catch yourself speaking with absolute certainty, pause and consider, am I being knowledgeable or just loud? By replacing arrogance with curiosity, you create space for genuine understanding to flourish. As you navigate life, remember, The loudest voice isn't always the wisest, and the strongest opinion isn't always the most informed. True confidence is quiet, steady, and open to growth. Choose humility. It will take you further than certainty ever could. C3. Ignoring consequences. Ignoring consequences is a sure path to foolishness, and it often begins with a focus on the present, at the expense of the future. Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully when he said, "What we do today echoes in eternity." These words aren't just poetic. They are a reminder that every decision, no matter how small, carries weight. Yet foolish individuals act impulsively, blinded by immediate gratification, without considering the ripple effects of their choices. Take a moment to reflect on your week. Were there times when you acted out of fleeting emotions, without thinking about the long-term impact? Perhaps a small indulgence, an angry response, or a neglected task seemed harmless in the moment. But wise individuals know that every action contributes to their future, shaping the life they will one day live. Marcus's words remind us of the gravity of our choices. Even seemingly insignificant actions can have lasting effects. Foolishness lies in chasing temporary pleasures, overspending, avoiding responsibilities, or reacting out of anger, only to find ourselves burdened by regret. Seneca put it plainly, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Think about it. How often do we exchange long-term fulfillment for short-term comfort? Skipping a workout, indulging in unnecessary purchases, or lashing out in frustration might seem trivial, but these small decisions add up, gradually shaping the habits and outcomes of our lives. So how can we avoid this trap? The answer lies in reflection. Before acting, pause and ask yourself, how will this decision affect my future? Have you ever regretted a decision made in haste? Perhaps it was a financial choice, a professional misstep, or a personal reaction that caused unnecessary harm. These moments aren't punishments. They are lessons, urging us to act more thoughtfully next time. Living wisely means living with purpose. Foolishness thrives on instinctive reactions, but wisdom requires intentionality. Before taking any action, consider this. Will this choice bring me closer to the person I want to become, or push me further away? Epictetus advised, first, decide who you want to be, then do what you need to do. Wise individuals create a vision for their lives and ensure their decisions align with that vision. Practical wisdom often comes down to simple, small habits. For example, skipping a workout might not feel significant, but it can signal a pattern of neglecting your health. Overspending on unnecessary items can create financial strain down the line. Reacting in anger might feel justified in the moment, but can damage trust and relationships. These choices, though small, accumulate over time. To live intentionally, try this simple practice. Before making a decision, pause and ask two questions. What are the potential consequences of this action? Am I willing to accept those consequences? This moment of reflection can transform impulsive actions into thoughtful ones, ensuring you're shaping a future aligned with your values. Marcus Aurelius offers another empowering reminder. You have power over your mind, not external events. Realizing this, you will find strength. Your decisions are within your control. You hold the power to shape your life with every choice you make. Each action is an opportunity to build the future you desire, or to drift further from it. So, pause and reflect. Are my current decisions creating the future I want? Don't let regret be the teacher of intentionality. Start now, guided by wisdom and purpose, to create a life where every action is meaningful and every decision is a step toward your best self. 4. A closed mind. A closed mind is one of the clearest indicators of ignorance. Marcus Aurelius captured the essence of intellectual humility in Meditations when he wrote, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change." These words are more than a statement of humility. They are a guide to personal growth. True wisdom begins with the courage to admit our flaws and an openness to new perspectives. In stark contrast, a closed-minded person clings stubbornly to their beliefs, rejecting anything that challenges their worldview. But what drives this resistance to change? At its core, a closed mind is rooted in fear. Fear of being wrong, fear of appearing foolish, and fear of change itself. These fears form a mental fortress, which we mistakenly believe will protect us. Yet, as Seneca wisely observed, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This fortress doesn't offer strength. It becomes a self-imposed prison. The fear of admitting mistakes or rethinking long-held beliefs is often far worse in our minds than in reality. In shutting out new ideas, we may shield our egos, but we also block the opportunities for growth and improvement. Resisting change isn't a sign of strength. It's a sign of insecurity. Epictetus once said, "No one can learn anything if they think they already know everything." A closed mind not only refuses to seek out new information, but actively rejects it when it appears. Consider the colleague who sticks to outdated methods despite better alternatives, or the friend who refuses to revisit a flawed opinion, fearing it will make them appear weak. These behaviors don't preserve dignity. They prevent progress. To begin the journey toward growth, reflect on your own mindset. Ask yourself, what beliefs have I held on to for too long? When was the last time I allowed someone to challenge my thinking without becoming defensive? These moments of self-examination can be uncomfortable, but they are crucial for breaking free from the cycle of resistance. Imagine being in a debate where someone presents evidence that contradicts your views. What is your instinct? Do you listen openly, or do you immediately raise your defenses? If it's the latter, it's likely your ego taking charge. But here's a liberating truth. Being wrong isn't a failure. It's an opportunity to learn and grow. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not external events. Realizing this gives you strength. You can't control whether others challenge your beliefs, but you can choose how to respond. For the wise, challenges are opportunities, not threats. To cultivate an open mind, start small. Seek out perspectives that differ from your own. Read books or listen to content that challenges your assumptions. When someone presents a new idea, pause before reacting defensively. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Could they be right? Discomfort is an inevitable part of this process, but it's also a signal of growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Let the discomfort of being proven wrong guide you. It often points to areas where you have the most room to grow. Over time, focus on progress, not perfection. A closed mind is merely a habit, and habits can be changed. Choose curiosity over defensiveness. One small step at a time. An open mind is a path to freedom. It frees you from the prison of fear and ignorance, allowing you to embrace life with curiosity and resilience. Every mistake you acknowledge and every new perspective you consider brings you closer to wisdom. So ask yourself, what belief can I challenge today? What step can I take to open my mind just a little more? By letting go of fear and embracing the power of learning, you not only grow wiser, you also become freer. 5. Lack of empathy. A lack of empathy is a defining mark of foolishness. Epictetus offered a timeless observation. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Yet, foolish individuals often reverse this balance, focusing more on their own needs and perspectives, while ignoring the emotions and experiences of others. This disregard weakens relationships, narrows perspectives, and ultimately leads to isolation. Empathy is more than just a moral virtue. It's a cornerstone of wisdom and a pathway to connection. In a chaotic world, it strengthens bonds, resolves conflicts, and fosters inner peace. Without empathy, communities crumble, relationships fray, and we lose sight of our shared humanity. Why is a lack of empathy so foolish? Because it ignores the fundamental truth of interconnection. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What harms the hive harms the bee." When we dismiss the needs or struggles of others, we ultimately harm ourselves. A world devoid of empathy is not only lonely but also destructive, as isolation breeds ignorance and conflict. Think back to a time when someone dismissed your perspective. How did it feel? Likely frustrating, disheartening, even isolating. Now reflect. How often might you have unintentionally made others feel the same way? Empathy isn't about agreeing with everyone. It's about making the effort to understand, even in the face of disagreement. This understanding fosters patience, humility, and the ability to see beyond our own immediate concerns. Seneca's wisdom echoes this sentiment. Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. Empathy isn't just a gift to others. It's a gift to ourselves. It helps us grow, challenging our assumptions and teaching us to connect with others on a deeper level. To cultivate empathy, start with active listening. When someone speaks, resist the urge to formulate your response while they're talking. Instead, focus on truly understanding their words, tone, and emotions. This practice transforms conversations from surface-level exchanges into meaningful connections. Next, practice putting yourself in their position. Marcus Aurelius advised, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, 'Today, I will encounter people who are meddlesome, ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, and rude.' They act this way because they cannot distinguish between good and evil." This perspective isn't about excusing bad behavior, but recognizing that it often stems from pain, ignorance, or inner struggles. Compassion rather than judgment allows us to respond thoughtfully. Finally, recall moments when you felt misunderstood or judged unfairly. Use those experiences to guide your interactions. Offer others the understanding you wish you had received in those moments. Empathy doesn't just heal relationships, it transforms our inner lives. It shifts our perspective, helping us view others not as obstacles, but as fellow travelers on the same journey. Epictetus challenges us. Don't just say you've read books. Show that they have taught you to think differently and become a better person. Let empathy be the visible sign of your growth and wisdom. Take a moment to reflect. Do I listen more than I speak? Do I judge quickly? Or do I seek to understand others? Your answers don't just reveal your habits, they reveal your character. Empathy is not a weakness, but a profound strength that bridges gaps, mends wounds, and fosters connection in a world that desperately needs it. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the beginning of wisdom is realizing that the struggles of others are no different from your own. By embracing empathy, you take a step toward not just becoming wiser, but becoming more deeply human. 6. Blaming others. Blaming others is one of the clearest signs of foolishness. Seneca wisely noted, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Hardships and challenges are not obstacles to avoid. They are opportunities for growth. Yet foolish individuals often fail to see this. Instead of owning their actions, they shift blame onto others, avoiding responsibility and missing out on the lessons life offers. Reflect for a moment. If every failure in your life is someone else's fault, how can you grow? Wisdom begins with the courage to say, "This is my fault, and I will learn from it." Have you ever caught yourself blaming someone for something that, deep down, you could have taken responsibility for? Let that moment serve as a lesson, not to shame yourself, but to recognize the transformative power of accountability. Blaming others may provide a fleeting sense of innocence, but it stunts personal growth. By avoiding responsibility, you rob yourself of the chance to learn from mistakes and improve. It's like refusing to polish a gem. It remains dull and unrefined, never reaching its potential. Adversity, when embraced, becomes a powerful teacher. Seneca reminds us that refinement comes through friction. Challenges and failures aren't there to break us. They are there to shape us. However, foolish individuals often miss this opportunity. They point fingers at circumstances, luck, or other people, instead of looking inward. Epictetus sheds light on this truth. We are not disturbed by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens to us. Blaming others might seem like an easy escape from responsibility, but it solves nothing. Growth doesn't come from deflecting blame. It comes from how you choose to respond. Taking responsibility isn't easy. It requires confronting uncomfortable truths about yourself. Admitting, "I was wrong," or "I could have handled that better," takes strength and self-awareness. But think about the people you admire. Are they the ones who shift blame and play the victim? Or are they the ones who take ownership of their actions, learn from their mistakes, and grow through adversity? This principle applies not just to major life challenges, but also to everyday moments. When you miss a deadline, do you blame others, or do you acknowledge where you fell short? If a relationship ends, do you see it as entirely the other person's fault? Or do you take time to reflect on your own role? Shifting blame might feel comforting in the moment, but it keeps you trapped in a cycle of stagnation. Adversity doesn't define you, it refines you. Seneca reminds us, adversity is what defines us. The next time something goes wrong, resist the urge to assign blame. Instead, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? By looking inward, you open the door to growth and wisdom. Here's a simple exercise. Whenever a situation doesn't go as planned, pause and reflect. Instead of asking, "Who is to blame?" ask yourself, "What could I have done differently?" This shift in perspective is empowering and transformative. Think of a time when you blamed someone else. How might you have taken responsibility instead? It might feel uncomfortable to reflect, but this practice builds strength, resilience, and character. Every time you take responsibility, you reclaim control over your life. Blame is easy. It requires no effort or reflection, but it offers no solutions. Responsibility, on the other hand, is a path to progress and mastery over your growth. This is the essence of true strength and wisdom. As Seneca said, adversity is what shapes us. By choosing responsibility over blame, you take control of your life's narrative and create the opportunity to become the person you aspire to be. These 6 signs are not meant to be used as tools for judging others, but rather as mirrors for self-reflection. Marcus Aurelius wisely reminds us, don't waste time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. It's easy to point fingers, but true growth begins when we look inward. Use these signs to identify areas for improvement in yourself. Embrace humility, or recognize where you can grow, and use these insights as stepping stones to evolve into the person you aspire to become. The journey to wisdom starts with self-awareness, the courage to acknowledge your weaknesses and work to improve them. Let these lessons serve as a guide, not just for understanding others, but for becoming the best version of yourself. With each step forward, you're not just learning from philosophy, you're embodying it in your own life. Let's continue this path of growth together,